So we wrap up another pay-per-view, UFC 302. And it was okay. I think a lot of the fights were just kind of, I don't know. I have to say UFC 302 is kind of mid, if I'm being real. I mean, I really try not to say negative things about UFC pay-per-views, but after the ride that was 301, which was exciting, UFC 302, it just didn't match up, and you can't really blame them because the main event was a nail biter. It was fun to watch. Makhachev versus Poirier. Of course, I knew Islam was going to win, most likely, but Poirier really did give him a run for his money. So watching that, is Poirier going to pull a Hail Mary? I enjoyed it. But the Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa fight, just although I knew the outcome of that one too, Sean Strickland obviously was going to win that fight. He just got the better resume. It just kind of felt like he was very stagnant. Now, obviously, he was calm. He was very patient. He waited. He was planning on going the distance, and he got it done. He definitely deserves a title shot. Kevin Holland, I basically knew he was going to win. I just don't know where his career is going to take off. And then the other two fights, Nico Price and I think Alex Morono, that was okay. And then that first fight went the distance. A lot of decisions, not a lot of finishes. But even then, it's like those first two fights. Well, the first one was exciting to watch. The second one, you could tell, were two older guys fighting. That first round finish by Kevin Holland, that armbar was tight. That was a highlight. But then we went back down to the co-main and the main event. I honestly feel like the main event could have gone the distance, and we probably still would have gotten an Islam victory. But he did secure that Darce choke. And the one thing I realized about Islam's, grappling is it's not so much strong, but it is dynamic. Meaning, if you were to shoot straight doubles, if Islam shot straight doubles on Poirier saw him coming, but Islam had to pull the ankle picks. He pulled the judo toss, and he did get a lot of those takedowns. So he did have the ground thing. But I really feel like also Islam kind of underperformed. I felt like that main event, you would see a dominant performance from Islam. And for the most part, Islam was inching out Poirier, but he wasn't doing as good as he should have against Poirier, especially for someone who is head and shoulders above the rest of the division, especially someone who knocked out Volkanovski in the first round. It just kind of seems like Islam had something going on. He looked pale in that first main event. And I'm not saying I don't want to rag on Islam too much because he's one of my favorite fighters and he really is an awesome champion. However, it just kind of seemed like something was missing. Like he had a lot of pressure building in and he was very hesitant in the first couple rounds. Round 3 is when he started to get his color back. But I don't know what was going on with him for the first 2 rounds. He looked like super pale, like he was about to throw up. And then you had rounds 3, 4, and 5. He just kind of seemed to be back to his own stasis again. But even then, the whole performance just didn't seem like Islam's best performance. Maybe he might change that, but if he doesn't, I really don't see him fighting for the 170-pound title anytime soon. A lot of the questions that we had coming into this fight, they got answered. But what now? And in fact, they got answered in ways that kind of have me biting my nails for the future of a lot of these guys. Now, definitely Sean Strickland. I think he has a really good shot against Dricus du Plessis. But just Islam and what his performance was like, I just don't think he should go after Leon Edwards yet. I think he really needs to take a couple of inventory checks to see what went wrong. Because after that Volkanovski rematch, I figured this guy is never going to make another mistake again. And you could tell he kind of looked like he doesn't know where he was at tonight. He still got the job done, so even on his worst night, he had a lot to show for. His clinch work was where a lot of it really came into contact. And I just feel like Poirier wasn't as open as he could have been. I feel like if Poirier didn't hesitate so much, he probably could have pulled an upset and pulled a underdog story. But, I mean, 302, like I said, it was all right. There was a lot of sitting around and waiting. And sometimes it really just kind of took off. But I'd probably give this card about a 7 out of 10. Still about a mid rating. But hey, you know what? Not every fight is going to be fight of the year. Not every fight. These things happen. You know, it's the love of the sport. Our questions were answered. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Peace out.